Have you ever practically walked out mid-sex? What happened? My wife headbutted me when tussling around in bed. Didn't think much of it. Kept going, switched position with me on top. She commented that I was drooling on her face. Thing is, I'm not a dog, so I wasn't drooling at all. Wiped my face with the back of my hand, which came back wet. Lights on. Blood all over the place. My nose was bleeding. I had bled in her eye. Not as much a walkout since we still went to sleep together, but sex wasn't on the menu for the rest of the evening. Thing is, I'm not a dog. That's exactly what a dog would say. She kept insisting that I didn't need a condom. I'm infertile was among her excuses. Like, I just met you on Tinder, I ain't raw dogging it. I just walked out. We didn't do anything. Yeah dude, anytime someone says we don't need a condom, that's when you know you do. Yeah, had a chick do this and I noped out. A few months later I found out she was pregnant. Dodged a bullet. We hadn't gotten very far, but I quickly moved down while she quickly moved up, and I broke my nose on her pelvic bone. She suddenly flipped the absolute fuck out, screaming at me about ruining our night as blood gushed out of my nose. Mind you, this was like the second date. She continued to yell at me about how I needed to fix this, a total accident, and I just cleaned myself up the best I could and went home. That was really selfish of you to get injured while going down on her. She will make a great bridezilla for someone someday. I had an ex say her last boyfriend's name in the middle of the act. I wasn't even insulted because I knew she was a drama queen, and the way she said it was so over the top. Oh my good ex's name, you are amazing. Never stop. In a way that no real life human speaks outside of movies. I wouldn't have been mad if it had been accidental, mistakes happen, but the fact that she was doing it intentionally so she could have a dramatic scene straight out of The Notebook or some other garbage romance movie. God, that is so cringe. Dodged a bullet with that one. This wasn't the guy's fault. I was bouncing on his dick and I accidentally bit my bottom lip really hard when I bounced. I started bleeding profusely on his chest and down my chin. We both stopped and ran to the bathroom. This is weird. This happened to me once. She still has a scar from it. Nearly bit the whole way through her lip. Edit spelling. One time a girl was riding me and she came up a little high and I kind of slipped out. When she came back down, the friction tore my dick hole open a little bit and the area right under it on my head. There's like a bump of skin there now. I'm a little scared of girl on top now too. I did walk out. She bit my nipple so hard that it bled, and called me a pussy when I complained about it. My ex-wife would bite me around my clavicle, most of the time hard, but not enough to kill the mood for me. BC, it meant she was really liking what I was doing. Until one time when she bit so hard out of the blue she drew blood. I went soft mid-thrust and it was over for the night. Dude, she bit my dick. Wonder if we are talking about the same chick. Edit fucking wholesome awards. Goddamn, I love Reddit. Yep, my boyfriend said he felt something hit his back, like it dropped and hit hardish and moved, so we stopped and I checked and nothing was there, so we continued. About a minute later I had my hand on my boyfriend's shoulder and I feel something move on my hand. I look and a huge house spider comes running over onto my face. I screamed, my boyfriend looked, he sees the spider, slaps it off my face, and the pair of us get up and nope ourselves out the room, throwing clothes on as we go down. Mate, legs ruined our evening, lol. This is as hilarious as it is terrifying. The spider was expecting a threesome. Old GF, I was down under and noticed a metallic taste. It was dark but I wiped my face and my fingers were red. Well, my dumbass asked if it was that time of the month, she said no. So I scooped to the bathroom, and it looks like I'm painted for clown school. I get all cleaned up but I couldn't figure it out. Then it hit me. Nosebleed. So I go back to my room, explain, she's crying because she didn't know what was going on. I calm her down and she goes to shower. 10/10 do not recommend. Edit. Geez, it's nice I'm not the only one this has happened to. I one time got a nosebleed because of how forcefully my now GF slammed her pussy into my face. This was like a week after we met. We've been dating for like 18 months now, and we still joke about it. Edit, my girlfriend is amused that over 6,000 people are now aware of the power of her pussy. The guy kept asking if he could remove the condom. But I'm clean, I've been tested like 2 weeks ago. You can trust me. Yeah, right. After maybe the 6th or 7th time I got so pissed off I just up and left. People who say that have never had an STI test in their life. I had a guy do that to me. We hadn't even started, and he wanted to go at it raw, which, honestly, I hate condoms too, but I don't want babies yet, and he said the same thing to me. I replied, show me your papers, then pay for my depot shot, and you got a deal. He left. He started to strangle me. I told him I didn't like that and he said he would stop, but his hands kept creeping up to my neck. Flipping terrified me. I wasn't sure what he would do if I stopped and tried to leave halfway through. But I sure as hell got out of there as fast as I could. The only guy I've ever ghosted after sex did this. He came from the kink community, so I guess he thought everyone was into choking. Nah dude, I'm claustrophobic and you're being scary. I've been there. It's terrifying if it's non-consensual. I once regrettably dated a woman who was with me purely to upset her conservative parents. We were having sex in her bedroom and she began shouting as loudly as she could. I asked her to stop, but she said she wanted them to hear us. That was not my idea of fun, so I stopped. She sobbed like a child because I didn't want to take part in her weird fantasy. What was it about you that would piss her parents off? Had to stop mid-sex a few times in the past due to nosebleeds. Surprisingly, blood dripping down your face isn't entirely sexy. Straight up anime character here. Girl just started slapping the shit out of me, slapped me soft. Like, you can't ask me first. I coulda told you no and saved us some time. Okay, I came here for something like this, I gotta tell my story now. So I used to work at a bar and this girl would come in every weekend and just sit and hang out. So one Friday I asked her if she wanted to go out the next night for drinks because I had off. Fast forward to the next day, we're drinking and having a good time. We decide to go back to my apt and have some wine. So naturally we skip the wine and we're making out on the bed and I'm on top and we're naked and I think things are going just swimmingly. Then wham, she smacks me in the face. I pause and I look at her and in my head I'm like, okay, WTF was that? But then we just start making out again. Then sure enough wham, smacks me from the other side. I just go, okay, stop doing that, and she says, why don't you try hitting me back? Never have I ever asked someone to leave so quickly in my life. Never called her again and she never came back to the bar. I was going down on a former girlfriend years ago and I was really drunk. Well, the room started spinning and to the toilet I went. Poor girl thought it was her. I reassured her it was not, I just mixed too much alcohol. Yeah, I was with a girl after I had a fresh breakup. She was being really vulgar about what she wanted me to with her, but kept referring to me as her father. Not like in a daddy kink kind of way, she just kept calling me Gary, and well, that was this woman's father's name. We got started and then as soon as she said it again I lost the erection and then pretended to have chest pains and went home. She then spent the next few days messaging me about must have been wonderful if I almost gave you a heart attack. I ended up blocking her. Edit, grammar, spelling. I'm a lazy. Somehow this is the second comment in this thread about somebody calling the other person by their own father's name. He was my first Tinder hookup and kept trying to convince me that we shouldn't use a condom because he couldn't come with one on. In my naivete, I didn't leave immediately but instead listed some options that didn't involve his condom-less penis in my vagina but could still potentially allow him to come. He refused all of them and then tried to sneakily take off the condom without me noticing. That was my deal breaker, though in retrospect, it should have been much earlier, and I said, I need to leave. I calmly dressed and collected my things while he climbed under his covers and pouted. I blocked his number as soon as I was in my car. Good for you. I'm so sorry that happened, Toe. In many states, removal of a condom is assault. It's what anybody says, trying to sneak a condom off is sexual assault, straight up. Glad you got out of there safe and blocked him. Edit, yes, rape is the correct term. Wasn't sure if the word was censored on Reddit or this specific sub, so I played it safe. But yes, it is rape. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.